Hello guys and welcome to MotorBeam. If you have rupees 1.5 lakh to spend for a scooter, you have a very brilliant option with the Aprilia SR 160. It is very sporty. If you spend a little more, you can get the Yamaha Aerox. Which one should you buy and why? That is what I'm going to answer in today's video. Before we begin, subscribe to MotorBeam and don't forget to hit the bell icon. Now to keep things simple, the Aprilia comes at a base price of 1,40,000 rupees, but if you want to get the top model, which is this one, it will be 1,51,000 rupees. If you get the Aerox, the base price is 1,58,000 rupees on road, and the top model, which is the Monster Energy, comes at 1,60,000. So the price difference is not much. If you are willing to spend almost till that, get the Yamaha. If you want a little bit on the budget, get the Aprilia. Now apart from the price, styling also matters, and if you want an attention seeker, well, both the scooters are. If you want a bulky one, the Aerox is the one to go for. If you want something that's sleek, that can filter through traffic very nicely and rides well too, you should get the Aprilia. Now there are priorities with the tire options too. If you want thicker tire options, well, 120 section tire both at the front and the rear, that is the option on Aprilia, while that on the Aerox is a 110 section front and a 140 section at the rear. So Aerox is actually bulky all around. If you want a bit of practicality too, you've got a footboard space. Although the footboard space on the Aprilia is not too much, there is one. For the Aerox, there's none. Both the scooter get a digital instrument cluster, but the one on the Aprilia is actually bigger and provides a lot more information and mileage for each and every trip that you are riding on. For this, the Aerox, there is something called as the mileage and distance to empty and all of that, but that's limited to very specific numbers. The switchgear quality on the Aprilia is decent. It has a plasticky feel, but that on the Aerox has a piano black finish and feels a lot more premium. When you look at it, you do notice that you do get a start-stop system on the Aerox, which is missing on the Aprilia. Now talking about convenience, you don't get an external fuel filler cap that's there on the Aerox, and you get a multi-function switchgear, well, multi-function key where you can open the fuel as well as the seat with this. The underseat storage is a lot more over here, but it still does not take my full face helmet. The seat does not shut. Now if I check the same on the Aprilia, the keyhole is mounted on the seat itself. The storage space is a little small, and this one still again does not take in my helmet. However, you do get a USB charger here and a light inside too. The seat height of the Aprilia is close to 780 mm and the width is decent enough. The cushioning is a little hard. But the good part is that if you are a lady or someone who wears a lungi, here you won't have any problems. However, if you want to get onto the Aerox, you have to lift your leg. Either do it this way or like a motorcycle, you have to swing your leg over it. And then once you sit on the scooter, this place is a lot more comfortable. The cushioning on the seat is also much better. Plus the handlebar is a little further away, so this scooter feels comfortable. But if I talk about the footboard space again, there is very limited space. On the Aprilia too, it was quite less. Here, there's nothing. If I talk about the pillion comfort too, well, there's decent amount of space in both the scooters. However, the grab rail on the Aprilia gives you a little bit of back support, a lower back support. For the Aerox, the grab rails are actually body mounted grab rails and, well, they look nice, not as purposeful really. Now if I talk about the ride and handling balance, well, the ride is decent enough on the Aerox, but overall the balance is actually much better on the Aprilia with the balance of the front and the rear suspension. They are equally hard. So if you tip into corners too, this one holds the line really well and it feels sleeker and it feels easier to ride. The Yamaha on the other hand feels a lot more heavier, takes a bit of an effort to take the line. It holds the line well, it feels nimble, but not as nimble as the Aprilia does. It is just 4 kg heavier at 126 kg than the 122 kg of the Aprilia, but that one is stable at high speeds. This one is a lot more nimble, much ready for the city duties. You can expect a similar mileage in both the scooters of close to 35 to 40 km per liter, but because of VVA, there is a chance that you might get a little bit more on the Yamaha. However, the Yamaha has a smaller fuel tank of 5.5 liters compared to the 6 liters on the Aprilia, and I've seen that the 6 liters does come in handy quite a lot of times. When I say because of VVA, is that when the time VVA is not engaged, you get a better mileage comparatively, and there are times when I've seen a number of 50 showing on the meter, which is actually a very good number for a 155cc scooter. The Aerox also gets dual suspension at the rear, while the Aprilia gets only a single monoshock that is side mounted. However, the suspension function on the Aprilia is softer, feels a lot more plush. That on the Aerox is quite hard and it feels like a motorcycle because it literally is one. For such performing scooters, you do require safety, and both the scooters get single channel ABS as standard. Now the thing is that the braking feedback on the Aprilia is far better as compared to the Yamaha, and I'm not joking. For the first time ever, I'm saying this, that the Yamaha does not feel as safe as the Aprilia, because Aprilia stops when you ask for it. This one takes a little bit more distance. The feedback is a little lacking if I compare it right now. Otherwise, the feedback on the Yamaha is actually decent. Aprilia is a bit sharper. Now if I want to talk about the grip from the tires, with the same on the Aerox is much better because you get a balance like a motorcycle, 110 front and 140 rear, and it grips well while taking corners and it holds the line too. However, the same case on the Aprilia is that the 120 section rubber grips decently well and feels a lot more nimble because of the balance it has like a scooter. But the major deciding factor over here is nothing else but the heart of the matter, and for that Yamaha gives you a 155cc liquid cooled motor producing close to 14.5 bhp of power and 13.9 Nm of torque, which is brilliant for that number. However, the same case on the Aprilia is not as justifying because you get a 160cc motor with a 3 valve that is an air cooled motor producing 11 PS and 11.6 Nm of torque. The numbers are not as exciting for Aprilia, but the low end and mid range for both the Aerox as well as the Aprilia is exactly the same. It feels just as powerful. The top end is where the Aerox shoots ahead and goes the distance so nicely. Well, if you're doing city duties, both the scooters will feel exactly the same and there won't be much difference in terms of city performance. However, out on the highway, the Aerox will overshine the SR for sure. Both the scooters are vibration free, and yes, I'm saying this for the SR as well. There was a time when the SR 150 was there, it used to vibrate quite a lot. Now the Refinement is brilliant. Same case for the Yamaha, it is even better. But then again, the complications on the Yamaha are a bit more. So if you go into a flooded situation, or if you want to go for after sales, that is service, the Aerox will be a little more complicated to service because it has so many more parts like liquid cooling, radiator and all of that, and everything is quite compacted within that space. For the same case, Aprilia will be a lot more easier to service, a bit cheaper too. The ground clearance can also be a deciding factor. For that, the Aerox gets only 145 mm, the Aprilia gets 169 mm, so it's up to you to decide. Now look at that on the Aerox, it's so much going around. The same on the SR is so much sleeker. Now if you want a scooter with the dynamics of a motorcycle, we used to say that the SR had it, but now the Aerox has a lot more going around because it is so much more of a motorcycle than just a scooter. And just because of that, if you want a motorcycle from a 150cc but an automatic, that's my saying, then get the Aerox. Aprilia is a scooter here. I know you guys are definitely gonna comment that on paper and everything, aisa vaisa, the Aerox is much better. There are a few things that the Aprilia is good too, and for that, if you want to spend as much, yeah, get the Aerox. Simple. Even I'm gonna choose that. Thank you. Bye.